Hello everyone and welcome to Quality Old Games. Today we are making a short guide video to Sassanid Empire in Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion, either remastered or the original one. So you start with 5 settlements, which are at least minor cities, and one large city in the mix as well. And your state religion is Zoroastrianism, which is quite rare religion in this game. And the starting position is rather solid. So you have practically only one enemy, meaning Eastern Roman Empire. You are at war at the beginning, but in the north and south, or rather south and north of your areas, there are practically only rebel settlements that are actually quite sparse. So practically Kotais is quite near of your areas, and then Dumatha can be reached rather easily. And the things going for you is that this eastern end of Mediterranean is probably the wealthiest area in this whole map. So capturing here these larger cities, huge city, minor city, large city, or Alexandria, huge city, they are going to give you at least 10,000 denarii, probably over 25,000 in case of Alexandria. So you are going to get filthy rich really fast, and then ports in these coastal cities here provide tremendous amounts of denarii through trade. So getting these cities as fast as possible makes your game quite a bit easier. Another thing going for you is that your cavalry roster is one of the best, if not the best, in the game. So as you can see here, you can have Clipinary Mortals, Elephants, Cataphracts, some Camels, Clipinary, and Nomad Archer Cavalry. And actually you can have those Nomad Archer Cavalries even here from tier 1 stables. You have decent missile units, but your infantry is quite poor, so I think you need to rely on cavalry, or that's your most reliable unit type to use. Especially in early game, those Nomad Cavalry Archers and Clipinaries. And of course Generals, they are kind of come close to being overpowered. And then it might be that you need to rely on mercenaries. So capturing these juicy targets here will give you the resources you will need to hire the mercenaries you want. There is quite a large selection available in this area here, so you can boost your armies pretty effectively. Then there are some things that are not going for you, and the first one is Zoroastrianism, or however it's pronounced. So it is going for you in the early game, but as you can see, almost all of these cities here are Christian. The Christianity there. Okay, there is one pagan city apparently. And or rather general. Okay, these are also Christian. So because all of these cities are Christian, they get bonuses for Christianity, or rather Christian conversion from neighboring provinces. And since the number of Zoroastrianism, or provinces with Zoroastrianism, difficult word, is quite low, so it's difficult to convert these. And when the religion differs from yours, that's going to cause some issues with public order. Maybe the issues will be minor, for example, the faction leader's religion differs from yours or so on, but there is going to be issues nonetheless. Another drawback is that since there are huge cities and the culture of the buildings is Roman. So you cannot tear down the epic stone wall or the imperial palace there. So they will be Roman culture. And that's going to mean you are going to have huge culture penalties in your areas. In those areas you conquer, even though if you tear down every other building in the city and build those according to your culture. But still you are going to have culture penalties in your cities. So religion and culture, both bringing penalties to you, is going to mean trouble in the late game. So basically, because of this, you need to be aggressive in this campaign. It brings benefits. You get a lot of money. You gain access to lucrative trade opportunities. You can boost your military force with a large amount of mercenaries here, which are actually pretty decent quality. Especially those mercenary veterani are actually the best infantry you can get. I would take them any day over even those Sagdian infantry. So be aggressive, and it's more than likely that the Eastern Rome will retaliate. They have some forces in the area, and they have many cities in which to build more. In my playthrough, most of the Eastern Roman units in their armies here were Limitane, but there were some Comitatenses and Hippotoxotai among them. So you need to be prepared that there will be about maybe 5 half or full armies moving around, sieging your settlements and so on. So make sure that your defenses are in order, or you have some relieving army around here that you can utilize to drive the sieging armies off. Your target is to have 20 areas, so 15 more to what you currently have, and those 20 areas need to include Antioch, or maybe not Antioch, Jerusalem, Alexandria, and Constantinople. And of course, in order to capture Constantinople, you are going to need to have ships in this area. It's going to be quite easy since once you capture Ephesus, so you can build there a couple of ships and ferry your troops across the strait there and besiege the city. So another thing going for you if you are aggressive is that it averts some of the negative effects. So if you exterminate the settlements you capture, they are going to stay pretty much under control until about turn 30. And if you are aggressive enough, you can achieve victory about in turn 30. If your campaign is lasting much longer than that, it might be that these huge cities will rebel no matter what size of garrison you have, no matter what buildings you build there, and so on. So you need to then recapture them. And of course, always if you see that your city is about to rebel, then dismantle all of your military buildings there, so barracks, stables, and there is somewhere, for example, these archery range or archery buildings. And that's because if the city rebels and there are no military buildings there, the garrison is mostly going to be peasants and some mercenaries. If there are military buildings, there might be some high-tier units spawning in the city to defend it. And to make things worse, the cities do not necessarily rebel to rebel faction, but they might rebel, for example, Sinope most likely will rebel to Eastern Roman Empire, and I had a case in Petra that rebelled to these Berbers, and that's quite interesting, but that really happened. So, be aggressive, make cavalry, and try to keep the public order decent enough. And I think in this gameplay you need to accept that you cannot convert these areas, or those areas you capture to, let's try to say it properly this time, to Zoroastrianism. There are these rebel settlements you might want to capture initially, but keeping hold of, for example, Dumatha, I found it quite difficult. So you might want to consider if you want to send some troops here and then tie them here as garrison, and then maybe you need to recapture the city or village in any case. So that might actually not be worth it. On the other hand, Kotais I found very useful, even though it's a Christian settlement. But it's large town, so you can actually build something from there as well. So, to put it in a nutshell, build cavalry units, be aggressive, and those two things are kind of the keys for success in this campaign. So, what do you think? Did I miss something? Do you disagree with something? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment field. And otherwise, if you like the content, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That will help a great deal. And thank you very much for watching this video. Have a great rest of the day. Quality Old Games out.